Hey, how are you doing today? So, I have this topic I'm going to talk about. Most of you have been requesting it: housekeeping versus nurse assistant in Europe or in Scandinavia. Because I have worked both as a hotel housekeeper and as nurse assistant. So, if you're new here, my name is Judy, Adventures of Judy. I am a Kenyan Norwegian who lives in Norway, and I'm happy you are here. So I would like to state that I have lived both in Sweden and Norway. And when I lived in Sweden for a little over 2 years. And while I was there, I worked as a hotel housekeeper. And I would say that housekeeping job, it's easy to get. It doesn't require qualifications. Why? Because when I moved to Sweden and I had already had my residence card, so I was legally allowed to work. So I just got connection with people who had worked in this hotel, and they connected me to this hotel. They just called the boss and told them about me, and the boss called me direct and asked me if I was ready to go to work. This was in July, and July is summer, and they always require summer job workers. So then when I went there, I was not asked a lot of stuff. I was just asked if I was living legally, who I was living with, my address, and all that. My certificates were not requested or anything like that, and I started working. So getting was easy. You just needed somebody to push you to get into the work, and the job was repetitive. It's same job you're doing, cleaning the room, changing the bed sheets, and cleaning the corridor, and sometimes cleaning the windows. So it was the same kind of job. It was less emotional, like you're not talking to anybody, you're not attending to anyone, you're just going to the room and cleaning the room, and when you finish your job, you're going home. And then also it was something you could do without learning the language, because most countries here you have to speak the language. Most countries in Europe, non-speaking English European language, you have to learn the language of that country. But when I was in Sweden, I started working as a hotel housekeeper before I learned Swedish. So it's possible this is a job you can do before learning the language, because you don't interact with the client one on one on an everyday basis. So then that was it. And also another thing, it was very physically requiring, moving stuff, pushing the trollers where you put the bed sheets in, and sometimes you have to push the tables away from the furnitures around where you are going to clean. Sometimes you even have to pull the bed away from the wall or where it is and put it back to place. So it was physically demanding, which was something that made me had to go to seek physiotherapy services, because I had a lot of pain on my back. And then I moved to Norway, and I got into a new career, very, very new, that I had never been into as a healthcare worker. So, because I wanted to try out, first I applied for the job and I was told I had to have a B1 in Norwegian language. So, you see the difference. In hotel housekeeping, I was able to work without learning the language, but as a nurse assistant, I had to learn the language at a certain level, and that was B1. So then, after I had learned the language up to this level, I took my certificates, and then I talked to the boss. Then I was trained for 3 days. Then I started working with the people there, and it's a work that you see. So I started as unskilled, and through liking the job and seeing how it was, I got interested and then started more education. So with nurse assistant, the good thing is it's more paid. Your salary is more higher than housekeeping, hotel housekeeping. And then also nursing assistant or healthcare worker, you are going to have shift. You have there are three shifts. There is daytime shift, there is evening shift, and then there's night shift. So it's a requiring job that might keep you away from your family on weekends as well. But as a housekeeper, you work uh, generally same days, Monday to Friday, and you work same hours. It's just one shift as a hotel housekeeper. and the salary in the hotel is lower than the salary as a nurse assistant. Also, as a nurse assistant, you need a language to be able to speak to the patients, to be able to interact with them on a daily basis. And then another thing is it's emotionally requiring job. You have to be empathetic to be able to work with people who are vulnerable, people who are sick, and then you have a lot of responsibility. You can be in a position where the life of the patient is in your hands, so you have to act quickly and do act as quickly as possible, which is different with housekeeping. Housekeeping, you are not working one on one with anybody. You're just cleaning your room, and at the end of it, it's clean and it's you are done with your work. But in house in nursing, you are working with sick people who might things might happen, so you have to be emotionally prepared for stuff like that. And another thing with housekeeping, you are not going to improve to grow careerly. If you are looking forward to, if you're working in a hotel industry, you're not going to grow as grow as an hotel housekeeper, because you are going to work the same job. And if you are going to grow, like looking forward to improving, probably you are going to be a receptionist or a supervisor. But even as a supervisor, because I remember our supervisors, they were also working with us the same job. Their job was just to check if we have done the job correctly and divide rooms for us, and they were also doing the same thing you were doing, so it's different. But as a nurse assistant, you can start as unskilled first, and you see how it goes. And if you like the job, you can go back to school. You will study as a healthcare work, which is 2 years in Norway in school, and then 2 years and apprentice. So that is like 4 years. Then you take your exams. If you pass, then you are authorized healthcare worker. And even after that, if you want to improve more with your career, you can apply for university. You can go further and become a full nurse bachelor, because in Norway, to be a full nurse, you have to have a bachelor of nursing, bachelor of science in nursing, sorry. So in as a nurse assistant, you can improve, you can grow into your career, you can have just more than, you can even venture into other areas of healthcare, which is quite big. But as a housekeeper, you're not going to grow, you're going to do the same thing every day. And it's also physically requiring, it's low pay. They have not strong unions, as healthcare industry have very strong unions. Like here in Norway, they have Fagforbundet. They have which help you if you lose your job in an unfair situation, if you're going through some stuff which is not working for you well, if you are being discriminated at work, if you feel like there is something which is not sitting well with you, you can go to your union and explain it to you, explain it to them, and then they can take your case. But as a housekeeper, they mostly employ just substitutes, which here in Norway and Sweden it's called vicar. This is they just call you when they need you, or it's like a temporary employment where you don't have any benefits. So there is no union for this. So for me, I will say that pros, as a housekeeper, it's easy to enter, it's so quickly, lower formal education, you don't need any certificates. It's predictable daytime schedules. You start working at 8 o'clock until 5 o'clock. It's less emotional responsibility. You're not working direct to patients, or not patients, but customers. You are alone, and if you're introvert, you can thrive in it. And good for people who prefer physical task based, who work quickly and you see visible results. You like to work quickly and physical, and at the end of the day, you see how the way you have made the bed so nice and the room looking so nice. If stuff like this makes you happy, then this is job for you. Cons, it's lower average pay, It's high physical strain, like I've said before. Like I had back pain because of physical nature of the job I was doing. And then it's a seasonal or part time. I was working as a substitute there, and I had met people who had worked in the same hotel, the other branch, who had worked there for more than 4 years, 5 years, and they were still working as substitute. So it's something that it is not something that you are going to get into it permanently within a short period of time. It takes a long time. And then it's fewer clear career progression, of course. You will not be expecting to be at work at the reception or be a supervisor. It's less career progression. And as a nurse assistant, the pros are higher average pay and allowances, because you also get allowances if you work at the hours that are not working hours. Like if you're working in evening, you have additional pay. If you're working night shift, you have additional pay. If you're working probably weekends, you have additional pay. And job security, stronger job security, benefits, pension schemes, and everything is usually better. So even if you retire, you have a good salary retirement. And there's clear training routes, recognized certificates, and upscale to nursing. You can start as unskilled and you end up being a full nurse. Yeah, because there are also other branches where you can move to if you feel you want more. Work is often experienced and meaningful and socially valued. Yeah, of course, nurses, they're respected. Caring for vulnerable people, sick people, is not for everybody, and we respect the work they do. It's really emotional requiring job. And cons are emotional load and job stress. Yeah, if you are not empathetic, if you cannot stand sick people, if you cannot stand the pain somebody's going through, so this is not your path. Also, sometimes the job can be understaffed. Sometimes your colleagues are sick, there are nobody to take the shift. You people are there, less of you, so it's quite demanding and can be stressful. And shift work, you will work at night, you will work on weekends, you will work in the evening. So it's a work that requires somebody who is flexible. If you are not flexible, or you have small children, or you have something that is preventing you from working in the evenings or night or weekends, then it's not for you. And then it's physically demanding and lifting patients, or you are exposed to infections risk. uh, I think this one varies because we have machines that we use for lifting patients, but again, you have to push the machine by yourself. So yeah, it is physically demanding if you cannot work in an environment like that. Also, you are prone to infections if you have low immunization. Then if you're prone to airborne diseases, then you will be easily getting sick because you're working around people who are also vulnerable, people who are sick. So this might affect you. So for me, it's up to you. If you want to grow into a career, you can choose nurse assistant because you can grow up to nurse level, or you can even branch into other parts. You can work as at the doctor's office as a secretary there. You can work at the laboratory. You can work in many areas, but as a housekeeper, it's so limited. And then salary, nurse assistant has higher salary than housekeeping. And also, if you have empathy, you like to work with people, then welcome to nursing job or healthcare sector. So thank you for this. If you're new here, my name is Judy. If you have not subscribed yet, subscribe. I talk about my life in Sweden, my life in Norway, jobs, and how I live here. So subscribe and share the video to others who have same interest. And thank you so much for watching. See you on the next video.